we were in the Capitol and we were just walking around, and one of our teachers comes up to us and is like, "There's a congressman who wants to see you guys," and we're like, "Oh, that's cool." Just sort of expecting it to be just some sort of congressman that we don't know. But we go over and it's John Lewis, who was like a really famous civil rights activist. He
Oh,
led
that's so cool.
he led the Selma March in the 60s. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for those of you who've joined. We're here for episode 2 of Riffing and Ranting. I'm Carter, host of That Is Interesting, the YouTube channel.
I'm Quinn, host of Quinn the Cameraman, the YouTube channel.
And I'm Brett. I'm just a guy.
Yeah, and today we've got favorite German, everyone's favorite German, Conrad joining us. And we're excited to talk, have a nice conversation. Also, I'm planning what you might have seen, a tour for the US Explained, which will be probably January through August, visiting a lot of the Western states and territories. So I'll give you guys more updates on that as the dates get closer. But yeah.
Super excited for that.
Oh yeah, it'll be great.
You actually get to see the rest of the beautiful country, even though you've already been to almost all the East Coast.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait, how many states are you still missing?
Basically, all the Western states, or a good chunk of them.
Or,
Oh, right.
for the videos, but I've been to most of the Western states before.
Yeah, right.
I haven't been to like the northern ones, like Idaho and Montana.
Yeah, you gotta come out and visit, dude.
I will. You guys might see Bam Cam himself.
Oh no.
Brett.
You're gonna make an appearance in the videos?
Yeah, I might. We'll see. I won't say anything too, and see if people can figure it out. That'll be funny.
Wyoming tour guide.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, thanks for joining us today, Conrad.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So by the way, I'm Conrad. I'm German, and I don't host anything, unlike Quinn or Carter.
Yeah, you're just a guy like me.
Yeah, I'm just a guy.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, well, sweet. So, I mean, to give a bit of a backstory, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, you went to the same school that we did, except at least Carter and I weren't there because we had already graduated. But you went there with Quinn.
Right. Yeah, Quinn graduated the year that I went there.
Oh, okay. And you only went for what, the semester program that they do?
No, I went for the whole year. I think the semester program just started.
Oh.
But like, I did an exchange, so I went for a whole school year.
Oh, that's fun. All right. So you lived in the dorms. I've shared a bunch of dorm stories. What's your best dorm story that you have that will not get us canceled or in a lawsuit?
I don't know. I mean, a bunch of stuff that goes on in the dorms would get us canceled or like in a lawsuit.
Oh yeah,
so I gotta think for a minute. Wait, so did you live in the dorms too?
Yeah, so I was an RA. So I'm sure you know some of the goobers from the class of I think what, 22 was this the current year? Yeah, so the class of 22, I RA'd for a couple of dorm kids. I won't name any names, but you can probably assume a couple of names.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I was an RA there. I've seen all of them, and I've seen every ungodly thing that has happened in there.
I don't know. All the dorm activities were like fun. We had like dorm battles on the common area, but like I don't remember anything specific.
Okay. Yeah. Good times though. Good times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, could you talk a little bit about how the sort of exchange programs work in Germany? Because I know sometimes students have to repeat a year when they go back. Did you have to do that, or? Are you still on?
Yeah, so I didn't have to do that because like the way that it works is in Germany for you to graduate, they they need your grades from junior and senior year, and then like you get a final grade in all of it. And so because I went during my sophomore year, I didn't have to repeat a year, but a bunch of the juniors they did, just because they need it for their final grade, right? So, and the way that the organization that I went with works, it's like you apply in like fall of the year before you go, and then there's like a whole thing. You have to write an essay, then they do interviews, and then they basically assign you the best possible school for you. And for me,
Okay.
that turned out to be the school that you guys went to.
Yeah.
Oh, so you don't get to. Can you like
Ye-
request certain schools if you've done research, or is it just
I mean, they have like,
yeah.
I think they have like 80 schools in the program, but you can't really request anything. Like you can request to play certain sports or something if that's important to you. So like if you're good at like ice hockey and you've been playing for years, they probably are going to send you to a school that has ice hockey. So probably like the north somewhere. But
Gotcha.
you can't like request a specific school.
Do you know how many students they take a year?
I think like 200 or something, 300
Oh
maybe,
wow.
and then like 60 from Germany. So
Okay.
it's most popular here.
So were you applying specifically to be in the US, or were you like, do they offer
Oh,
schools in like other countries too?
no, they only do U.S. schools. I was
Oh,
also thinking about going to like Canada or something, but I
yeah,
ended up just applying to that one organization.
gotcha.
Hmm.
How was that for you, Carter? Did you like how did that work when you did your exchange?
Yeah, so I studied in Washington, D.C. my junior year of high school. But I applied like
Jesus.
specifically to the program. So like I like found this program online basically, and just applied specifically like through their application, and then
So just the one school?
yeah, just to that one
Yeah.
school.
Okay.
Um, but then yeah, study abroad in college is kind of different. Like at least at my school, you had to get permission from the school to study abroad. But
Mhm.
then once you get approved, like some of the programs, you have to get specific permission to apply to that program because they basically want to make sure that you're gonna get in if you apply. Um, so then if they think that you will get into the program that you apply for, then they'll let you apply. If not, they'll sort of recommend that you do something else. But they have
Awesome.
like a whole list of schools that you can, or like programs that have like an affiliation with the school so that you can just apply pretty easily to them. But you can also, if you find one on your own, you can just do
Mhm.
that.
Yeah, I didn't have to do that for my exchange program. You just had to go through a certain class,
Yeah.
so which was nice, but it still was a little bit of a pain. I don't know. My school is private, so sometimes their programs aren't as widely
Wait, so
sought after.
was your exchange program when you went to Argentina, or was that for a class?
It was a hybrid thing. So it was for a class. I was taking a meteorology class at the time, specifically mountain meteorology, and we were going down to the Andes to go study weather phenomenons and other things down in the Andes that, or like certain weather phenomenons that happen in the mountains. Um, and also fire, and also how certain weather patterns that only occur in mountains affect how fire spreads and operates and things like that. A really interesting class, but anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. Um, the big thing with it that was difficult was that the school went through a travel company, I want to say, which
Oh,
really harpooned certain things that we were trying to do. And so we can only get like a week. And the way that my school works is very interesting because there's multiple campuses, and there's the original campus, the original campus sort of controls everything, and they like playing with the puppet string, so to speak. So the campus I'm at never fully has its own free will. The budgets are controlled, but anyway, are controlled by the main campus. But anyway, they have to approve. They have to go through the chain of command, quote unquote, to get these trips approved, and that can take months. So we almost didn't go, which was the
Oh, wow.
frustrating part. Yeah. But I mean, evidently it worked out. I went to Mendoza, Argentina, and had a really, really good time. Met some cool people and hiked around in the Andes, which was sweet. Almost
When
felt
was that?
Country, right?
that was over spring break of this
Oh,
last
okay.
semester. Yeah. So, but it was really sweet. I loved it. I had a lot of fun.
Wait, so how long were you abroad for?
Just a week. It was only a week. It wasn't long, or it was 8 days, but we got a lot done. We were studying with the Argentinian government down there, and they were putting on the class with two of their like top mountain meteorologists that they have down there.
Okay. So is it
Yeah.
like you take a class in person and then just like travel for the class?
Yeah, so the way it
Okay.
worked is we stayed at a really small hotel down the road from the National Laboratory. We would walk there every day. We'd sit in class for the morning, and in the afternoon, we had a project we needed to do, and then we had 2 field days. So we went to the foothills of the Andes, then we went over to just past Aconcagua, and we went near the Chilean border, and we hiked up to the top of the hill. Or the rest of my class did. I was not prepared. I didn't bring hiking boots with me, or sturdy enough hiking boots for it. And plus, I'm hopelessly out of hiking shape. Got to work on that. But they went up the hill, and they technically became illegal immigrants of Chile. Or yeah, so which was that was the joke of the trip. But I hiked in the canyon, or in the valley floor below with a couple other people that couldn't go up, and we did some research stuff. It was really cool.
Sounds sweet.
hmm And then when you were doing your study abroad, Carter, or 2 questions I have for you. When you're in your study abroad, did you spend any time in Germany? And what was the whole premise? Was it just a Europe tour, or were there specific classes you were taking?
No, so my study abroad it did about a month in 3 different countries. So it started in Argentina and then did Spain and then South Africa. And so we couldn't really cross into, I mean, obviously it's pretty easy once you're in Europe with like the EU travel stuff to cross into other countries, but we weren't allowed to do that with the program, which that was too bad. But but it was still cool because we got to see like 3 different countries and spend a lot of time in different places. So we didn't go to Germany during that trip, but Quinn and I went to Germany this summer and actually stayed with Conrad. And yeah, it was really cool. We traveled around a bit, sort of in the area, and then we also went on a trip to Berlin.
Nice. Okay, I got 2 more questions. One for you, Carter, and one for you, Quinn. Carter, what was the highlight of either your trip to DC or your study abroad trip? Quinn, do you plan to do any study abroad trips in college? And Conrad, same goes for you too.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the highlight was the people because the programs, both of them, were really small, like around sort of 20 students, and they were both really tight knit. So you're taking classes with everybody. You're living in one of them, we were living in a dorm, and then in the other, we were living in homestays, but you get to know everybody super well. So like everybody becomes super close on the program, which was really cool.
Mm,
So you just honestly just make a ton of good friends and like meet some really interesting people. So I think that was, I mean, visiting these places and um, meeting locals and exploring the different countries and cities is obviously amazing. But the people that I was on the program with were great, and I would say that's the highlight.
that's good. Quinn, you thinking about doing any exchange programs since you're in school?
Honestly, probably not, just because the study abroad programs at my school are they're like kind of similar to what your school does, it sounds like, where you take a class for a quarter and then go for like a week over summer or spring break. So I'd want to have like a longer time, and if I was traveling abroad, I don't think just like a week is enough really. So I probably won't want to do that like through my college. I'd rather just like travel on my own.
Gotcha. But I mean, you do plan to do it in the future, so
Uh, Wait, what?
you do plan to like go abroad in the future.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
You think for work or just for travels?
I don't know if I got like video gigs, like clients abroad where I had to
Mhm.
like travel for stuff like that. That would be pretty cool. So I'd like totally do that, but also just for fun, I could see myself doing that too.
Mm.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Conrad, do you plan to do any study abroad trips? I mean, or something of that regard.
I mean, because I'm not in college yet, I don't know what the programs would look like.
Mm.
I definitely want to, but also I'm thinking about studying in the U.S., so I just like be on an exchange the whole time.
Mm.
If I don't do that, then I probably try and do one going to the U.S. from a
Oh,
German school.
nice.
Carter, do you still keep in touch with any of your friends from the exchange? Because like I
Yeah,
noticed for me that I haven't kept in touch with the people from my school as much as I probably want to.
right.
Like, yeah.
I think, well, the exchange program I did in DC, that was like a few years ago. So I haven't heard from, you hear from those people less frequently. But the program I did in college, which was just, we left about a year ago, I still hear from those people pretty regularly. One of my friends from the program actually came and visited at one point when he was on a big trip. And yeah, so like we'll probably do some get-togethers and reunions at some point. So
That's great.
yeah,
Alright.
Yeah.
it's definitely nice to stay in touch with people if you can.
Didn't you meet? Okay, I'm not trying to get. I don't want to make this political. I just found this really funny. I remember you texted me during your program. You met a bunch of politicians, one in particular, and that was just really funny for
We
me.
did meet a lot of politicians in the DC program, which was pretty. Some of them we just kind of ran into on the street. Um, yeah, I don't know if I should name names, but I'll name names. We met Tucker Carlson. And that was an experience. Uh, totally random, yeah. And then we ran into we were in the Capitol and we were just walking around, and one of our teachers comes up to us and is like, "There's a congressman who wants to see you guys," and we're like, "Oh, that's cool." Just sort of expecting it to be just some sort of congressman that we don't know. But we go over and it's John Lewis, who was like a really famous civil rights activist. He
Oh,
led the,
that's so cool.
yeah, he led the Selma March um, in the 60s. So like this really like
Oh,
influential historical figure. And so that was really cool. Got to like shake his hand and talk to him for a little bit. We also were walking around, some friends and I were walking around before the State of the Union just to see what was going down.
Get
Walking
the
around,
lay of the land.
and they like shut everything down around there. But we're walking around and we see some people getting out of a car, and one of my friends is like, "That's Don Jr." We like looked at what he was wearing, and we like paid attention. We were watching the State of the Union. We were like, "Oh, that's absolutely him," because that was during the Trump years. So we
Yeah.
definitely ran into some influential people back in the day in DC, which was fun. Okay, looks like we have some questions.
Sorry to make it sorry to ask stuff like that. I just thought it was really funny. I mean, no matter where you are politically, I mean, meeting anyone like that is
Yeah,
definitely an experience, to say the least.
totally. Yeah, and we've met, I mean, pretty interesting and like influential people on both sides of the political spectrum during that time. Am I living in Minnesota right now? I am, yeah. I'm not there at the moment, but I am currently in Minnesota. Enjoying it there for sure. I
Do you
don't
get
know.
up to the northern parts of Minnesota at all, like Duluth or Ely or any of those areas?
Yeah, I haven't been to Ely, but I love Duluth. Duluth is a really cool city. It's like a small city, but it's got a nice downtown with some tall buildings. You've been to Duluth, right, Brett? Because you've
Yeah,
gone.
I've been there a bunch. I love it.
Yeah, it's such a great town. I mean, and I went in the summer and it was still pretty cold, but it's just this like situated right at the very tip of Lake Superior. So it's got this really cool harbor. There's like this big lift bridge, and it's still like a super industrial city because it's a major port for shipping out all the iron from that part of Minnesota.
I talked to the Coast Guard out there. They're pretty sweet. They just say
Yeah.
that they just hang out all day on the water. I mean,
And there's
obviously
all
they intercept
mountains and
people.
cliffs and things out there. Like you think of the Midwest as being pretty flat, but it gets a little hillier once you get up north.
Yeah. They also get some really crazy like currents and weather out in the water too,
I
which I
bet.
which I also found pretty interesting as well. Because those lakes, I mean, are massive.
Yeah.
I mean, they make all the lakes that I go on for fun just look dumb and puny.
Oh, I mean, so I moved to Minnesota for college. It was actually pretty random because I applied to college during the like height of the pandemic. So I actually the school I went to, I chose sight unseen. And I'd actually never been to the state before I moved there. So that was pretty crazy. But have I drove down the full North Shore? Not yet. I would definitely love to. Um, would definitely love to. I've gone a little ways past Duluth, but not too far.
So when you're graduated and after the tour and everything, where would you want to sort of end up in the future? Wherever a job takes you, or is there any place in particular? And I guess that goes for all of you guys too.
Yeah, it's tough because this tour is probably going to take the better part of a year, but I don't know where I'll want to move. I'm sort of toying with either Pittsburgh, where I'm originally from, or DC. They're both cities I really like. They're both real different. Pittsburgh would be a lot cheaper.
And it's
But
familiar territory.
yeah, yeah, they're both cities I've spent a good amount of time in, um, and that I like for different reasons. But sort of depends, yeah, what I end up doing with a job at that point. Um, so
What
still
about
figure.
you? What about you, Quinn?
I could see myself being in Chicago or New York until like my early 30s, and then maybe coming back out west to like California or Oregon or something.
Gotcha. And Conrad, do you want to stay in Germany or do you want to live somewhere in the US or Europe? What are you thinking?
I'm thinking probably California.
Nice.
Okay.
I mean it's just like my favorite state probably, and that's also where all the big tech companies are at because I want to go into computer science and software development. So I'm thinking that's probably what makes the most sense. But I have to get like a work visa and everything, so we'll see how that goes.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Conrad,
What about for you, Brett?
oh, what were you saying, Quinn?
Oh, I was gonna ask Brett the question he just asked all of us.
Definitely staying out in Wyoming or Montana.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely staying out here. Yeah, I don't know. I've fallen in love with this place, and
Good.
yeah, it's like a poison, or it's just I don't know. There's something about the place. I love it. I feel at home. So yeah. But I mean, if I have to move somewhere for work, yeah, I'll move. But I'm trying to get into agriculture, air, and firefighting, and the majority of that stuff happens roughly where I'm at now, so it shouldn't be too bad.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So Conrad, you've traveled actually around a good bit in the US. What are your like I'm wondering what your impressions of it are coming from a different country and sort of what places you hear like when Europeans think about traveling to the US, what are the places that they're talking about? What are sort of their impressions of the country?
We're not all that bad, I promise.
I mean, the favorite places for Germans to travel to are probably Florida and California.
Makes sense, yeah.
Just because like sunny America, surfers, everything.
Yeah.
Out to the mountains, bro.
Yeah, you've been to Florida, right?
Yeah, I've been to Florida, and like I've been to some of the East Coast states. I've been to New York and Massachusetts and Maine.
Okay.
But yeah, that's about it. And then, I mean, German impressions of the U.S. are kind of difficult sometimes because they think that most people are just like they think about politics a lot.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get into that, but
not our finest moment sometimes, no matter where you are on the spectrum. But I mean, geographically speaking, we're very diverse.
yeah, exactly, and that's what I kind of try and say if they bring it up, but like I don't know.
Yeah.
See, someone asked, when do I see the Minnesota state flag? And did I know they're getting a new flag? I mean, I knew they're getting a new flag, but I think that's because it says more about me than about general perceptions of the Minnesota state flag. But I see it occasionally. I mean, in sort of the places you'll see state flags flying, like, I don't know, post offices and things like that, government buildings. You'll sometimes see it flying at people's houses, but I wouldn't say it's as much as like the California flag.
Or even when, like, I know back home in Wyoming and even in Montana, everyone has the American flag and then the state flag underneath it. I don't know. Some states often share a lot more pride than others.
Yeah.
In
Well, in a lot of
Chicago, everyone. Oh, sorry.
I was just gonna say a lot of the Western states I feel like have really nice flags, so it kind of helps.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Hey, the California flag's misleading. They don't have grizzly bears anymore. We have the monopoly on grizzly bears.
Wait, what were you saying, Quinn?
I was just gonna say, like in Chicago, everyone flies the city flag, and you like never see the state flag or even really the American flag flying anywhere.
Wait, they have a city flag? I didn't know.
Yeah.
The Chicago city flag is pretty sweet.
Okay, hang on. I'm gonna look this up. All right. Google, help me out here.
Wait, so why did Minnesota decide to change their flag?
I just think it's like there's a lot of flags that look really complicated. And it's sort
And
of
so
just
they try to simplify it, or
yeah, and I think there might have been something with like there's a few state flags that have that show like Native Americans in ways that are not great when you think about that they were made in like the 17 and 1800s. And so some of those states are trying to change them for that reason. And I think that might be part of the reason with Minnesota too.
yeah, I just looked at the flag and I see what you mean.
Yeah. But hopefully I think there's a design they're looking at. Because Minnesota is called the North Star State. And so I think there's a design they're looking at. It's called like the North Star flag.
Yeah, it's like it's a star and like a blue background, and then there's like a white and green wave or something.
Yeah, so that would be pretty cool.
Yeah. I just looked up the Chicago flag. It's pretty sweet. That's a good flag. Good design.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Quinn, do you have one on your wall in your
I do
apartment?
not. No.
You should get one.
You gotta show your state support.
It's just like the classic college like dorm decoration, just having a flag on your wall.
Yeah,
Dude,
no, a full send flag on the wall too. You know,
Definitely not.
I've
Here, I
way
mean,
too many flags, man.
When you should get a German flag for your dorm.
yes, I
Just
support that
randomly.
too.
Dude, I bought a flag in every country I've been to. It's really bad, but I don't
think you
have
have a
enough room
flag
on my
problem.
walls for it, so I like cycle out 3 of them.
Here,
Put them on your ceiling.
I'm gonna send a picture in the group chat of my wall. This is all my wall is right now. I have nothing else other than my whiteboard with my calendar. This is all it is. It's just a Wyoming flag above my bed. Like some of those kids have like the American flag or "Don't Tread on Me" flags. At least
Dude, the
those were my.
Wyoming flag is pretty sweet.
I know we got the bison. Got to
Yeah,
represent. I even have
that's
a
a pretty
fly fishing. I have my fly fishing box that has the flag on it. That's how much I. You gotta love the state.
So Conrad, when you travel like outside of Germany for longer periods of time, like what are some of the things you really appreciate about home more when you're gone and when you come back?
That's a good question. I appreciate the Autobahn.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
And I know you guys do too.
definitely.
I haven't seen it yet. I've only been in Frankfurt on a layover.
You should come check it out.
I need to.
I don't know. What I appreciate when I go to the US is that everyone speaks English. But I don't know what I appreciate about coming back home. I mean, I like coming back to my family and stuff.
Yeah.
But there's like, and of course it feels like home. Just like the nature around us and stuff. And probably one of the things that I like a lot is that we have good public transport.
Oh yeah.
But I don't really know anything else that like makes it a great place to come home to.
Yeah. No, I really appreciated the European trains.
Yeah, they make it super easy.
Yeah. Just like honestly, the big thing is just how frequently they run. Like if you miss it, there'll be another one pretty soon. Those are for like long distance trains. In the US, some of the like even like the trains are usually they'll run like one a day for Amtrak. So if you
We
miss trouble.
only have Amtrak.
Yeah. Although we're
Although,
getting some of those high speed rail projects in different parts of the
Oh,
country. So.
yeah, I was about to say,
finally.
did you see that high-speed rail project that they just finished in Florida, or they're continuing to expand from like Miami to Orlando or something like that? It's by a
Yeah.
private company.
Yeah.
That looks pretty sweet.
And then there's of course there's the California one, and they're also building one from LA to Vegas too that'll connect up with that one that's done.
Oh, that's the same company too. That did the
I
Florida
think so,
one.
yeah. Yeah.
And then the California one's kind of stalled, hasn't it? Because of like land
It's
disagreements or whatever it is.
It has, but I think they're past a lot of that. It's just they've been working on it for a really long time. But I think they've been building a lot of this stuff out in like Central Valley, like Fresno and Bakersfield.
Yeah.
So when it's all done, which will probably be a while still, it'll connect like Fresno, Bakersfield, LA, San Diego, the Bay Area, and Sacramento. So just all our big cities will all be connected by rail, which will be great.
Damn, they're gonna replace the Coast Starlight. That's like actually one of the nicer Amtrak rides that you can do, short of the Colorado one.
Yeah, it is.
Coast Starlight for sure. Yeah, I love the Coast Starlight.
Yeah, it's good. Like, I don't have a lot of great things to say about Amtrak sometimes because my last experience I got yelled at by one of the stewardesses because I don't know, I asked a dumb question. I was like just asleep in my chair, and then I woke up, and then yeah, he wasn't happy with me. I don't know. I didn't. I
Wait,
literally
because you fell asleep? Or
No, I fell asleep. I woke up and then I asked about food and like because I think I was in the nicer class, so I think sometimes they come around with snacks. And then I asked like, "Hey, are there any snacks rolling around?" And he went, "No, you were asleep through all of it." And I went, "Oh, that sucks." And then I don't know, got angry at me. I was like, "I
Wait,
just
Conrad, do any of the trains in Europe have like rooms you can get? Like, are there any
like
overnight routes where you need like a room, or are they all just like so close where it's just a few hours?
I don't think there are any. I mean, most of
Okay.
it is just a few hours, but there's also trains that go at night, but usually they don't have rooms. Like you have to stay awake on them.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, someone asked, what do you think about food in Europe? Because I know American food is filled with a lot of sugar, but in Europe the situation is different. When you
And a
tasted
lot
food
of
in
red
Europe,
meat.
what was your impression? And yeah, maybe you can talk about this, Conrad, too, coming from Europe to the US. I mean,
Yeah,
I notice is when I travel in the US, I gain weight, and when I traveled in Europe, I lost weight.
but that's also because you probably walked a lot more
Yeah,
than you would
that's
have been
true.
able to.
Like
That's
in the
a
US, I think a lot of the like cheaper food that you can get is like fast food. But then in Europe, you can get some pretty cheap stuff. Like when Quinn and I were in Paris, we were staying across from a grocery store, and we would just hop into the store and buy like bread and cheese for like $3 total, which was really great.
Carter. Is that your weight? Are those your new weight loss tips? Just travel to Europe.
Definitely.
Top 10 cheapest ways to lose weight.
I thought this was supposed to be a conversation show, not a health show.
Keep in mind the first meal we had in Germany was McDonald's.
That is
Oh.
true.
Oh, right. That's when we
Taste-
picked you up from the train station.
Yeah.
Taste of home.
Was that better than American McDonald's?
Probably.
Yeah,
It was,
probably.
you guys have some different sauces for sure, like that we have.
Oh, yeah, we have a whole bunch of sauce.
Yeah. Well, when in Chicago, they have because Chicago is where McDonald's is headquartered, they have a global menu store that Quinn and I went to.
Mhm.
And they like will have a few different countries at a time that you can get menu items that are only available there. So we got some
But
like
it-
German McDonald's or
Oh,
yeah.
nice. Yeah, one more thing I definitely noticed about food is that we have a lot more vegan options than the US. Like if you go to any restaurant here, you're gonna get at least like two vegetarian or vegan options. In the US, you have to like go to a vegan restaurant if you want to get some of that.
Mm.
Yeah, we definitely like our red meat here. I mean, Texas does. They do always say they have the best barbecue, which I argue they don't. But I'm sure I'll get flamed for that. But yeah,
I mean, every southern state, even some Midwestern ones, they all got their own barbecues, and I'm sure they all think they're the best. But I mean,
well,
that's the cool thing. Like the U.S. has so many interesting regional foods wherever you go, which is pretty sweet. And I'm sure that's like to an extent in Germany too. Like,
Yeah, like your dad loved Spätzle. That's like
yeah,
Yeah.
and that's like
one
Bavarian,
of the
right?
things. Hmm? What's
That's is
that?
that like a Bavarian food?
Yeah, it's definitely southern. And you can definitely tell that there's different food in the south than anywhere else. Like they're the traditional Germans that you think of when you think of Germans. Like wearing the leather pants and everything.
I have
Eating pretzels.
I have a buddy of mine that's his brother is in the army and is stationed out in Germany, and he sent my roommate a picture of Germany, and he was at a bar, and it was just pretzels, beer, and like it was so funny.
Yeah.
It was like every single like stereotype when you think of Germany, just all in one picture. Well, I mean, everyone was looking like
It's,
they were having a ton of fun.
Dude, I mean, good pretzels and beer, like it's a great time.
yeah, you can't go wrong with that. Like,
Yeah. No, you can't.
What are some of your favorite places to travel within Germany?
I love Berlin, of course. 'Cause it's like it reminds me of Boston kind of, or Boston reminded me of Berlin because it's like old architecture and also new in some places. Like it's just it's really cool to see a major city like have both history and like um modernity. What's the word?
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, but then I just love going to Dusseldorf because that's pretty close to me. And then there's also Cologne.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, what were your guys' favorites?
Well, those were the three we visited too, and they were all super interesting. Yeah, the history in Berlin was really present. I remember we were staying by, like, I just went for a walk as soon as we checked into the hotel, and I walked like a block away, and I saw this sign that said, "If you were standing at this spot 30 years ago, you would have been shot." I was like, "What?" Around, and you see they have like just a like big main street in the city going down, and then there was a checkpoint for where the Berlin Wall used to be.
Yeah.
But they still left in place, and then there was an old Soviet flag hanging from a building, and they left like some signs up. There's like chunks of the wall still throughout the city. So I think they do a really good job preserving a lot of that historical like Cold War era.
Definitely.
I
things.
was watching a video too, and if anyone knows who Mark Felton is, and I was watching one of his shows, and he was just going through like some of the history that you can still see in Berlin. I mean, obviously there's some old relics from both world wars, but there's also some really cool stuff that you could. There's also some really cool historical buildings from the 1800s that are there, if I'm not mistaken. I need to rewatch
Yeah.
the video, but there's a lot of really cool stuff there.
Yeah, we went
That's
up in
right.
some old churches and things in the city too. Um, yeah, Berlin was really cool.
I
And
need to go
Cologne
to
and
Germany.
Dusseldorf as well. I definitely it would be cool to go down to Bavaria, and Munich is really cool. See the mountains.
Yeah, I've actually only been to Munich like once.
Mhm.
But yeah, we should definitely go check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for the invite. Joking. Yeah, I need to go to Germany. I don't have a
You gotta fly us out, Brett.
dude, just give me a few more years to get those ratings, and then I'll be able to do it. All right?
Okay.
You guys paying for the jet?
Do you think that
Go
plane we were in
50-50
can
on
make
it.
it across the Atlantic?
Huh?
You think that plane we were in can make it across the Atlantic?
Uh, you're joking, right? I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure if we flew directly across, we'd run out of fuel before like we'd even reach a quarter of the way and fall in the ocean and fall into a similar fate as famous ships of history. But
Be a good move.
I think someone with ferry tanks inside of a Cessna, you can fly from like Maine to Newfoundland or like to St. John's, um, in northern Canada. And I think you can fly to. I think you can barely make it to Greenland and Iceland, and then
Just hop across.
yeah, you have to like really go far north in order to make it. It's not ideal though, so it's definitely tough.
It's
But
actually
you could do it.
it's kind of surprising how many flights go over Greenland and Iceland, because depending on where you're going to in the U.S. and Europe, the U.S. and Asia, it's like the fastest route.
Yeah, well, the other reason too, I found out in one of my flight or on my what was it flight physiology class, they have to they can get hang on, I got to whip out my notes. So the stratosphere is at different altitudes throughout Earth. So obviously, when you're closer to the poles, it's higher up. It's like at 54,000 feet. Or near the equator, it's at 54,000 feet, but at the poles, it's lower because it's colder, and it's only at 24,000 feet. So, roughly speaking, so they fly over the poles because in the stratosphere, you're not going to hit any turbulence. You're not going to get any weather because that all happens in the thermosphere. If I'm, man, where am I? Let me get my notes out before I sound like a baffling idiot. Yeah, in the troposphere, yeah. In the troposphere, that's where all the weather happens, like thunderstorms, rain, wind. So they fly in the They like flying north because they can be in the stratosphere and get out of all that, and they have favorable winds. So, or they get the jet streams. I think I need to reread my notes, but yeah, that's one of the reasons I found out in class yesterday. So that was pretty cool.
pretty cool.
Yeah, but if you guys want to take a jet out there, I'll fly it.
I'm
But
down.
you're paying. Let's get some of that job. Get some of that postgraduate money to work. But any you guys got any sweet trips coming up, domestically, internationally, other than your, that is interesting going on tour?
Yeah, well, I'm planning that, but I don't really have too much else in mind until then.
Okay, here's what you're gonna do. All right, you're gonna go on tour like all like YouTuber comedians are gonna do. You're gonna do that, except you're just gonna do interesting shows.
Oh, just hop into like a comedy club and just be talking about history, geography.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
I think they're there to get some laughs. They're there to learn.
Well, you can sprinkle some comedy into it. Like, I can't spitball right now. I don't have anything good. But yeah, you need to, just work some comedy in there. Say like, "How are y'all doing tonight? This is even worse than insert blank." But yeah, do something like that. Make it a comedy yet interesting show.
Hmm.
I don't know.
It's a good idea. Good idea.
And then have Quinn out there with the camera. Like getting a really sweet gimbal camera, get all those great shots. Really sell
course.
yourself. Yeah.
Just bring you guys to the crowd to just be the only ones clapping.
Yeah, I'd just be there. I just know how to fly planes. There's nothing else I know how to do. I'm just an operator, not an engineer.
Other than that, just gonna finish up school and then see where life takes me.
All right, so now we got to talk about your presidential campaign. So,
Yeah,
let's-
what year is that gonna be?
yeah, 2028, Carter for president. Here we come.
2028.
2028.
I would not pass the eligibility.
Yeah. Well, no. Did you see? I mean, Did you see that? There's this one YouTuber. I think he's a gun YouTuber. He's running for Congress in Texas. That was pretty
Really?
cool. Yeah, it's. I think the guy's name is Brandon Herrera. I mean, like where your stance is on guns and stuff aside, I mean, that's still pretty cool that like a YouTuber is trying to run for office. I think he's vlogging it too, which is also sweet.
Funny.
So, yeah, I mean, obviously he's conservative, but still, it's just interesting to see that how
I
people
will
get
say,
career
got
shifts like that.
I got some comment the other day that was like, maybe there are bigger things planned for you than YouTube. I was like, oh man, what does that mean?
You know what it means. We've been talking about. I was talking about it when we were doing our school's student government elections. I was your faux campaign manager. No, was it Quinn? I can't remember who was the quote unquote campaign manager, but
Yeah, I had like you guys and maybe like one or two other people there to like gin up support because I was gone.
yeah,
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
remember.
so I was running for student body president of my high school.
And
But
one, by the way, successful
when
campaign.
that's when I was in DC. So I wasn't there to actually like even file that I was running or promote it or anything. So I had like some friends, including these guys, like make posters, get signatures to put me on the ballot. And then I had Quinn the cameraman here go and film like a drone video of our school and then did this edit where it like spun around and then it was like it was zooming in front of the Capitol. This is when I was in DC, and then I recorded this video of myself in the rain, like in a suit. It was it was
You had
like
your umbrella.
Capitol, like, and then I just like said some stuff. But then sent this video in for them to play during the speeches.
I remember. Okay, so I remember when that happened. We were all inside of like our equivalent of like a auditorium, and when the video ended, or like when everyone saw your face, everyone just started like, oh my god, it was like being at a college football stadium. It was so loud in there.
I know someone sent me a video of like when it zoomed in, like when it switched and zoomed to the Capitol, like everyone just started screaming.
Yeah. Oh, it was so funny too because I remember I did like one of those like fake like ads or whatever it is. Like you know how there's some politicians or just companies go like, I'm so and so and I approve this message. I did that with you. It was so funny. I mean, that was like my.
You see all that, but
I don't know if I have it still. I think I got rid of it, but yeah, it was so great. I had such a good time making that.
yeah. But then I
It was
found out it was like someone sent me a video of them announcing. I was like, oh wait, like I just won from a remote campaign. But
Okay, so Carter, clearly first campaign, you win. I think now it's time to go big leagues. I mean, how hard could it be?
my experience is student government.
Let's be honest here. I mean, first political campaign, massive success.
Exactly. Like it's
Massive
only up.
Yeah,
to
you're just gonna film another video in front of the Capitol and you're gonna win.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Show that you care. Show the people that you care.
Exactly.
Show everyone that you care. And if you don't, well, I guess I don't know. Change the narrative of politics in this country. I don't know. I'm just like I'm not trying to be political, everyone. I'm just thinking of just stupid lines that I've heard on the news recently that I just find funny. Anyway,
the only politics we can support here is that is interesting for president.
yeah, exactly. All right. Can someone make a campaign poster? That'd be great. Thanks.
Yeah, throw that in fan art.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, make a really good campaign poster. Like we'll make I don't know. We'll make the recruiting posters for the army look not good.
Or I think you should just use the Mac Miller kids poster.
Okay, so for those of you who aren't aware, which is everybody, so Mac Miller was from Pittsburgh, and we were from Pittsburgh, and he actually his one of his albums, Kids, he's like sitting on these bleachers with some of his friends, and that was like we knew the location that was at, so we were back visiting, and we made this like Quinn and I and our dad like recreated the poster on the same bleachers, and it's the funniest thing. And then Mr. Photoshop here, Quinn, went and like edited it and then actually made it look really good, and then we printed out a bunch of posters. So,
Wait, can you send it to me? I haven't seen this before.
dude, yeah.
Yeah, I'll send it.
Yeah,
You
here.
should actually start. You should start selling it on your online store.
Yeah. Boost up the merch a little more. I'm honestly trying to think of what to do with like merchandise for the channel because it hasn't been going super well. But Quinn and I were talking the other day, and one of the things he recommended is like I'm not an artist, but the one thing I'm kind of decent at drawing, like pretty good at drawing, are maps. So I was thinking I could like make hands of each of the states that I've done and like put them on designs and things like that, like mugs and stuff.
Your dad's face in this picture is priceless. Oh my god, that is gold. Oh my god, I love your dad. He's so cool. But no, okay, Carter. I wish I have so many ideas for you. I mean, I think you should make a poster. I mean, I think you should make like a fake like presidential poster, and it works even better if you do decide to run because you already have the name brand out there.
Exactly.
You should do what every single YouTuber is doing and do a rug pull cryptocurrency because that's obviously what this channel's about.
It's a good idea.
Like scamming all my followers. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be doing that, guys. Don't worry.
No, you know what you should do? It'd be really cool if you should do a shirt with like a really good like what would be your campaign slogan? That's the thing. You should create a campaign slogan, like you should like do different merch drops, and this one should just be like the presidential run drop, and then just have your campaign slogan on there. Get you in front of the Capitol building in a suit and put that on a mug. Get a really good poster. That'd be funny. I think that'd be really funny.
I mean, that's the problem with me making that video in front of the Capitol is like, of course, the just running joke around the school was like Carter's the president. You know? I could hear the
Well,
end.
I mean, I might as well prove them right. I mean, might as well make it into reality.
I should just repost the same video.
Remember what I think who did Trump meet with? Was it Trump met with I think the Nelk Boys or something like that. I'm not their big look it up. I'm not their biggest fan, but I mean he did say to them, he said, who knows, one day maybe you could be sitting in this chair. And it's funny because I think like one of the guys, I think his name's Kyle, or like one of the like I know the original crew is like from Canada except for one of them. I think one's from Florida, but yeah, who knows? Maybe you could be sitting in the chair one day. I mean, yeah. I mean, Carter, I don't call you Mr. President for no reason.
He does every time. As soon as I see him.
Yeah, I gotta salute our commander in chief. You gotta salute the man, the myth, the legend.
I think he just wants to fly Air Force One around.
Dude, they won't let me. I know they won't. Because I think that you have to be active duty in the Air Force.
Oh.
But I
said
mean,
they won't let me. Like it's something you've like applied to do already.
Well, you have to be like one of the better pilots in the Air Force too.
You could apply. I mean,
no, I don't know. I'm sort of burnt out on trying to join the military.
so a few years ago, our high school was looking for a new head of school, and Quinn, who was an active student at the time.
Oh my god, dude,
I forgot about that.
Did you actually try and apply?
I did.
He did apply.
I didn't. I never knew that. Oh my god.
I don't think he ever heard back, but
Quinn, you are a menace. I mean, what do you think the school is going to do? They're going to say, "Yeah, you're hired right there. You're bringing something to the table that we like."
I made a good case though.
I've been here since what?
what was your pitch?
I said because I was a student, I brought like a new perspective to the administration.
I mean, having a student as head of school would be pretty crazy.
It'd be pretty funny. I won't lie, it'd be pretty funny.
Like, I know there's some towns that have like dogs as mayors and stuff.
Wait, is that an actual thing?
Yeah, it's like, okay, so there's some towns where like the mayor is like a ceremonial role, and it's like the city council does everything. So there's like some small towns in like Vermont or something. They'll have dogs as mayors as a way to like promote publicity for their town and raise money.
There's actually one in California too.
Really?
Yeah, it's what's it called? Idlewild or something. They elected a golden retriever named Max.
That's so funny.
Why am I not surprised by that at all?
Way up in the mountains.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
I mean, everyone loves doggies.
California's got some interesting places to go to especially in the north. I don't know. I don't think any of you guys really spent a lot of time in like Redding or anything like that, but some of the places up there you can get. I mean, Redding and all those areas are really pretty, but there's definitely some interesting characters that are living out there.
Way up in the mountains.
Yeah, in the boonies.
Oh yeah. No, that area is so cool though, because you'll just like turn a corner and Shasta is just right there. You can see it from so far away too.
Oh, I love that mountain. I miss it. I really do, but I don't know.
We could see it from Oregon.
Excuse
I
me.
mean, we were pretty close to the California border, but we just
Yeah.
thought it was pretty wild.
Yeah. God, I haven't been up to the Pacific Northwest in years. It's
We get
been,
that.
I think it's been like 6 years since I've been up to Central Oregon, like Klamath Falls, Eugene, all that. So
Yeah.
yeah, it sucks. Ugh. Oh God, my neck. Conrad, where else have you traveled in the States other than California? And where else did you go?
I went to on the East Coast. I went to New York, and then Massachusetts, New Hampshire, and Maine.
Oh, nice.
And then in the West, I went to California and Oregon. Also, I've been to Nevada, Utah, and Arizona, but I think that's all.
Mm,
Oh yeah, and Florida.
nice.
It's a good
Yeah,
amount.
so
State's your favorite
I've
so
got a
far?
bunch of states. California, definitely.
Besides California.
Besides California, probably I like Massachusetts a lot.
Okay.
Because it kind of reminds me of Europe a lot more. But then I also loved Oregon with all the nature.
Did
It's
you go
Oh,
to a
yeah.
baseball game in Boston?
Hmm?
Did you go to a Red Sox game in Boston?
I didn't.
Ah, it gets a little rowdy.
Boston loves their sports, that's for sure.
Yeah, Patriots and Red Sox all the way.
Did
It's
you've been to Michigan, right?
Yeah, I think so. I went to Detroit because because some family member used to live there. I used to
Cool.
live there. But yeah, that's only for like a couple of days.
Okay.
When was that?
2017. So I think we
Okay.
went to Detroit, and then after that we went to Florida,
Got it.
like a 2-week trip.
yeah.
So where have you, like all of you guys, been outside of the U.S.?
I've been to, so my family is part Colombian, so I've been to Colombia once, New Zealand. I'm not gonna count layovers. I've been to
Mhm.
Mexico. Where else have I been? I've been to Switzerland, Italy, uh, Canada, and then I've been to Brazil. I think that's it.
Well, when did you go to Brazil?
I went to Brazil for the Argentina trip, so our flight got delayed, so we spent the night outside the airport and we got to walk around for a little bit. I mean, it doesn't fully count, but
Oh, but you got out of the airport and stuff.
yeah, I got out of the airport and explored for a little bit, so it wasn't too bad. I think we were in Rio, so I mean, there was really nothing going on. I wasn't like going to Carnival. My dad and my grandpa went on a cruise to Carnival.
Oh wow.
Yeah, this was like 2018 or something like that. It's pretty cool. So, yeah.
So I've been to a lot of countries, but it was mostly in the last year. So I did Argentina, Spain, South Africa, and then Iceland, Greenland, Denmark for just basically a day, and then also the Netherlands and Luxembourg for a day, and then Germany and France. I think
Yeah,
that's
I've
it.
been pretty much the same ones as Carter, starting with Iceland.
And then I
Have
went
you
to
been to DC?
we went to Canada, but that was when I was like 4. So
Yeah.
Do you remember it or no?
not, I mean, like a memory or two, but I wouldn't really count it.
Gotcha.
So long.
We had a layover there like a few months ago too, but
Yeah, we had a layover in Calgary, and it was really smoky because of all the fires that are just happening all over the country.
Yeah.
It's actually pretty crazy.
Yeah, don't get me started on that. I'll be talking for days. All the fires and everything. I don't know. Firefighting is a very big passion of mine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Conrad, where are you looking to go out in the States for school since you said you want to study out here, right?
Yeah. I was looking at some of the UCs, especially, and then Washington State too. But that's like
Nice.
the main ones.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean that's
Where
where
the essay's going.
so much of the tech is.
The essays aren't going that well. I haven't actually
Oh,
started any
no.
of them, but I'm gonna have a 2-week fall break, so I'm gonna work on a lot of them there.
Okay.
Yeah, catch up a little bit.
Exactly.
Dude, I was so behind on my essays. I wrote them like in January in the
Yeah,
class.
Yeah.
So
And
bad.
like your parents said the day that your essay for the school that you are going to right now, like you wrote the essay the day before it was due or something.
Yeah, because I wasn't even. It was that's why it was so random that I decided to go there. I wasn't really even considering it seriously. It was just my dad came in and was like, "Oh, this school could be cool." So I just added it. I was like, "Sure." He's like, "The application is due tomorrow, but there's only one more essay you need to write." So I just wrote an essay real quick, put it in, and then the school ended up getting back to me before a lot of the other ones. So I had a lot more time to think about it as an option and weigh it. So then I started to do more research on it actually after I've applied, which I don't recommend being your strategy for those of you who are in the process or going to be in the process of applying to colleges. But I did have a good bit more time to do the research because basically all the schools delayed their deadlines to confirm admission because of COVID when the year I was applying. So I
Oh
had
yeah,
to,
because COVID had just started right when you were applying, or like when
yeah,
you're supposed to hear back, right?
yeah. So my high school graduation year was 2020. So that's when everything had shut down for just a few months. We didn't have a like in-person graduation at all. And
Wasn't it
then
a drive-through?
yeah, it was a drive-through graduation.
Oh, yeah.
All time. So that was my year. It was the COVID graduation year, and then what was arguably even worse than that was actually having the first year in college be remote. So
Yeah.
that was not great. So that was last year of high school, first year of college, and then after that things started um, going back to normal, but
Not a great start.
not a great start. No.
Yeah.
Conrad, are you planning on coming back for graduation here?
Yeah, I am.
Nice.
Because I think that's like the exact period of time after I take all my finals and before I get
Okay.
my final grades.
That's
Perfect timing.
perfect
Yeah.
time.
Are you guys gonna be there?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we will.
Yeah,
I
right. You should come back and visit the school
No,
too.
no. After my last fiasco with the school, I am not about to spend that much money to get basically nothing. I am so furious at our school for that. I'm like really angry with the school because to give context, I was gonna fly back into my school and do a presentation. And I had talked to my school for months beforehand, and we got it squared away. And then something got lost in translation. No one would talk to me, and then I hear from them like a week before I'm supposed to fly out, and I already had a plane, like an aircraft reserved from my school to take. I got an approval, and I already got a hotel booked, and I got a call from my school saying, "Hey, could you push it back to the fall semester?" What? Are you kidding me? No, no.
Or
I'm spending a lot of money to do this, and my college is sacrificing a lot of resources to do this trip. And so I get out there and just no one there. It was really not a great time. I mean, I'm happy to see all the guys and all my friends and everything, but what I wanted to do just didn't happen, which sucked, and I was really bummed out about it. So, but oh well. But long and short of it, it wasn't fun. Wasn't the best trip, but I I'm thinking only about the positives. Got to see some friends and had an excuse to go fly somewhere for fun instead of just
Yeah,
working.
it's great having you back out here too.
Yeah, and for those who don't know, I took up Mr. President, Mr. Carter, up flying, and I hope you enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun
Yeah,
taking you
it's
up.
a great time.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm glad I got to do the stuff with the middle school though, which was fun.
Yeah.
Definitely inspiring the youth, as my university put it, the future generation of pilots. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, if anyone has questions too in the just feel free to send them in the chat and we'll
Yeah.
answer them.
Uh-oh. What's he saying? Carter.
What?
Have you been to the Commonwealth of Virginia?
The Commonwealth of Virginia. Yes, technically. I've been to the parts that are I've been to Arlington. That's basically it. I love Arlington's super cool, but I haven't had the chance to really explore the state as much as I'd like. But I did spend a lot of time in Northern Virginia when I was up in DC, which I
It's a
thought was
shame.
cool. There's like, so DC has the height limit on buildings, and they're also very strict about like it takes years to get on the wait list to go up the Washington Monument, for example. But if you hop over into Roslyn, there's buildings that you can just go up to the top of for like $10 and have just sweeping views of the city, which is not something that a lot of people know about, but it's pretty
I
cool.
think we did that when I went on my DC trip in 8th grade.
Yeah, and there's some cool stuff up. I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff up in Northern Virginia, the Pentagon, the Arlington Cemetery, and there's a lot of new like high-rise developments going up and things like that. But I would love to go and see some of the rest of the state for sure.
Listen, I can't keep saying this enough. Yeah, I come out to the mountains,
Oh yeah,
really experience it.
oh yeah.
Yeah, and on a serious note too, Conrad, if you ever are back out here, definitely try and come visit some of the more northern mountain states, because I think you'll be taken away. Like go over to Jackson or to Red Lodge, Montana, or something like that. The mountains there are just breathtaking, and you'll really love it. If
Yeah, I
that's
definitely should. Yeah. It's also great that it's like a whole different country if
Yeah.
you compare it to other states.
Yeah. And if you really like the Midwest and you can appreciate what you're seeing, then go out to the Dakotas or like Nebraska or something. Or if you really like trains, you go to Nebraska. Really like trains and corn, you go to Nebraska.
Yeah, Omaha's pretty cool.
Yeah, Omaha is nice.
And they've got a huge rail yard out there. It's a really cool city. I think it kind of flies under the radar, but really big role in American history with the Transcontinental Railroad too and all that.
Yeah, you ever been out to Promontory Point in Utah?
No, I haven't.
Definitely would recommend
Pretty
going.
close
It's
to
pretty
Salt
cool.
Lake, right?
Yeah, it's like northeast of Salt Lake City, I think, something like that. But I mean, it's really sweet. I love
Yeah.
it. I went out there with my dad when we were first moving out to Wyoming years ago, and it's definitely a must see.
Utah is so cool. I mean, I think Utah is like California is really beautiful, but you kind of expect that because it's such a huge state, and Utah's significantly smaller, but I think it's pretty comparable with that. The levels of just geographic diversity you'll find in the state, and some of the really beautiful things you'll see out there.
Yeah, and if you're a plane nerd like me, you can see all like the military jets they do out there, all the testing and stuff.
Oh
Which is
yeah,
also pretty sweet because they have like, I don't know, they have like Raytheon, a bunch of other defense companies. They do testing out in the Salt Lake, and it's pretty cool to see them fly around and everything. Because one time I was driving down the middle of the Salt Lake, all of a sudden just two F-16s just flew really low over the freeway and at full speed, and like everyone pulled over. It was really cool. So definitely something to keep an eye out for when you're out there, because you don't know what you'll see. Whew. Man,
I know there's a lot of that out in Nevada too.
yeah. Area 51. Anyone go out there? Anyone take part in that raid that they were trying to do, like what, 5 years ago, 4 years ago, something like that, where like the Air Force threatened to, like, I don't know, did they threaten like that they were gonna shoot people,
I don't know.
or like I
But
know for sure arresting people?
we sort of know the guy who ran past the cameraman and went viral for doing that. Do you remember that?
The Naruto runner.
Naruto runner?
Oh my god, you're
We
joking.
know him through a mutual friend, and he called him immediately after he did it, like on FaceTime. And so we talked to him for a little bit.
How in the hell did he not get like thrown in jail?
Well, it was
Like,
just running behind like a cameraman.
They're like
for the-
outside.
Yeah,
uh,
they weren't in the base.
uh,
Thanks for everybody who listened and asked questions, and we'll probably record our second one live in the That Is Interesting Discord server sometime next week. So feel free to hop in and join and ask questions like people did today. Big thanks to Conrad for joining us today.
yeah, thank you so much for
Yeah,
taking
thanks
the
for
2
coming.
minutes.
Thank you
Yeah.
for having me.
Hopefully you had some fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
But we'll
hope-
see you all for later episodes of Riffing and Ranting.
yeah, have a good day, everybody.